It's week 2 and the scatteredness is still going strong. Hi Yins, how are you doing today? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for checking it out. I am Gerald, Ginger Gerald Stitcher, and welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see, and make sure you like, hit the thumbs up button, and subscribe if you want to check out more of my videos in the future, or go back and check out the plethora of videos that I've had in the last 4 years of making videos. I've had many people say that they've watched all of the videos that I put out. Bless you. There are a lot of them, but I appreciate all of the support and love that you guys have all, and gals, have all given me throughout the many years. So thank you and welcome. So as you can tell, I am feeling a little bit better. So again, thank you. I'm trying to find a place to put down my little wireless Bluetooth little start and stopper thing. So again, like the intro said, I'm still kind of scattered in my brain and thinking, and a little bit of brain fog. So we're going to go with it. So thank you all for reaching out for me. Those of you that have, let's start that sentence over again. Rewind. Thank you to those of you who have reached out or put comments in the comment section on the previous video as far as how I am doing with my COVID symptoms. I am starting to feel better. If you have watched or are a subscriber and a viewer of Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts, she did speak of me in one of her videos last week because I was messaging her at the time that she was filming. And so she did speak about the fact that I did see the doctor last Monday. Well, video saw the doctor last Monday. I am still not cleared to go back to work in the building yet. They still want me to make sure that I'm symptom free, which I am not yet. But I am getting closer and closer. I was placed on an antibiotic because I did have some kind of respiratory infection thing going on. I know that's probably a little bit too much information for some of you, but I'm just trying to tell it how it is so all of you can know the types of things that I've been going through as a person who has been diagnosed with COVID. Now, I am well aware that the symptoms and the ordeal of COVID that I have gone through is far different than many others. And everyone's unique. Everyone's experiences with COVID is unique. And some suffer far more than I have. However, I just want to share my perspective. And so I still get fatigued. I still do too much sometimes whenever I am feeling well, like I am right now. And then I overdo it. And then I have to go and rest and really lay down and take my time and recuperate. So I am getting better. The doctor did say that I need to take more time for myself and not focus so much on the other things that I'm trying to do, and make sure that I'm allowing myself the proper time to recuperate. So that is my update on COVID. Again, I do really appreciate all of you who are commenting and sending me messages and emails and Instagram messages. You can find me on Instagram at ginger.gerald.stitcher. It's all linked below in the information section. But I do appreciate all of those messages and well wishes. You might see, and if you follow me on Instagram, I did post a picture. One of my amaryllis is finally blooming. It's well later than what it was last year, because last year it was blooming during Flossmas. This is my first blooming amaryllis of the year. And I was very, very worried that none of my amaryllis were going to bloom this year, because, so let's backtrack a little bit. All of my amaryllis bulbs this year were from last year. I wanted to try to carry them from one year to the next. And I know you can, and for some people that is a challenge to do. But I've read up and researched and watched many YouTube videos on the subject. And so I was fairly certain I did everything that I needed to do in order to make sure that I would get a blooming amaryllis the second year, 2 years in a row. So I did everything. I put my bulbs into hibernation. I did not take them out of the pots. I kept them in the same in similar pots. I did repot 3 of them into one large pot altogether, which and then 2 of them I left in the same pot. So I have 5 bulbs total. I have lots of energy right now, so that's why I'm talking fast, and then I'm like stumbling over my words. So I have 5 amaryllis bulbs total. And so the 5 amaryllis bulbs, 3 of them are now in a large, long shared pot. And then I have this one here that's in the pot that it came with. This was a kit that I bought last year, the very first amaryllis I bought. And then I have another one in a round terracotta pot. I was very worried that they were not going to bloom this year, because none of them started spiking at the time that they did last year. Then finally, this one started spiking mid-December, Christmassy time. I don't know. I don't remember exactly when it started spiking, but finally this week it opened and bloomed, and I have 2 really nice spikes on it. As you can see, there's the second spike there. I don't think this had 2 spikes on it either, so this bulb is even better than it was last year. This is an apple blossom amaryllis. Excuse me. Apologies there for the cough. Excuse me again. I don't believe in my opinion, and I could be wrong, and I need to go back and look at the colorings of the pictures last year. I feel like the coloring is not as vivid on this one this year as it was last year. Ooh, and I'm losing the base of the pot right now. I don't want to do that because it might be a little bit wet. But there's going to be 5 blooms on this spike, and then I have the second spike coming here. So I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to more blooms opening up on this one. So this is a very common breed of amaryllis, the apple blossom variety. I will be honest, it's not my favorite of the 5 that I have, but it is a very pretty one nonetheless. Let's see. I want to make sure that you can see it throughout and not cover up Henry. There we go. Okay. So, and then not only did this one open up, but I was watering all of my plants this week, and I turned the one that's in the terracotta pot, and I think that one is called the Terracotta Star, which is one of my favorites. And I turned it because it's sitting over on my windowsill in my garden, in the dining room / office. And I looked, and it had a wee bit spike about that tall. popping out of the bulb. So I'm really excited because I'm going to get a spike out of that one now. So now that one is also going to spike, I have high hopes that I'm hoping the other 3 that are in the shared pot also spike down the road here in the future. So they're later this year than they were last year, but that's all right. I'm still getting blooms. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm looking forward to many, many more years of blooms. Plus, this one now has 2 or 3 baby bulbs coming as well. So I'm gonna have future bulbs that I can separate and create more and more bulbs as well. So possible giveaways, because I'm not gonna be able to have all these amaryllis in my home. I have a small home, so we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I know it takes many, many years for an amaryllis bulb to grow large enough to be able to bloom. So we'll have to wait and see. 10 minutes and I haven't even started talking about crafting yet. So, all right. So I have lots of things to talk about crafting wise. Let's get right on into it. Oh, one more administrative thing I wanted to touch base at the beginning of the video. Thank you all. Thank you all of you who have gone to my Buy Me a Coffee website and supported my channel to continue allowing me to do what I am providing the services to you all. I am really wanting to thank you all publicly. However, I have not asked you personally if I can do that. So what I want to do is, if you do not want your name publicly out there that you have bought a coffee for the channel, please email me so that I leave your name out of the public announcement or something. I'm probably just going to have, like, at the end of the videos, some kind of like scrolling name or like a screenshot of those individuals who have publicly supported the channel with buying a coffee for our future giveaways, etc. So please, if you do not feel if you would rather be an anonymous supporter through Buy Me a Coffee, please let me know. And any future donators, if you would be willing to, if you do want to remain anonymous, please let me know either through email or through the Buy Me a Coffee website. That's the only administrative thing I wanted to mention, but I do really appreciate all of you and all of your support through that means. So with that caveat, let's get into some knitting. So I thought maybe last week was just going to be a fluke, and that I was going to have like one of those just one-off, like, oh, Gerald's just kind of off in his own little world right now, and he's just going to be crafting a little bit, and like we'll get back into his normal routine of working on 1 or 2 items a week. No, not at all. So with that, let's just hop right on into. I have two finishes in knitting. I finished 2 dishcloths. I just was in the need to knit on something a little bit different and kind of some mindless stuff. So I went ahead and pulled out this kind of Steelers, and let's not even go there with the Steelers because that was a joke last week. But I'm very happy for the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills, and I'm really hoping that one of those 2 teams will take it away now. Anyways, enough of the NFL. My season is done. So I went ahead and knit up this really nice Steelers style yellow and gray black dishcloth. Again, this style of dishcloth is not my favorite, so I wanted to try something a little bit different. So once I was done with this, because I used up all of the yarn and I was getting very close, I was doing some yarn chicken with this one. I mean, I was getting close, people. So what I did was I made it a little bit smaller, and luckily I got just close enough that I was able to finish it off. So what I wanted to do was try something I had in my head. My brother had knit me a scarf in this kind of style before, And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to make a dishcloth. And like I said before, most of my dishcloths that I knit, myself and my family, my mom, I give them to my mom a lot, and we use them for coasters. So we don't really use them for washing dishes or washing our face or face cloths or washcloths or anything like that. I use them to put under my plants or on furniture protectors or stuff like that. So what I wanted to do was do something where it was stockinette, but I know stockinette naturally rolls. So you have to have a border around the stockinette because I really like the way stockinette looks. So what I decided to do was kind of copy the scarf that my brother made for me, and I did a border of seed stitch. So here's the dishcloth I made. This is using, I love this cotton from Hobby Lobby, and this is in the color teal. I love this cotton, and this used up the entire ball of teal that I had. So this ball is now also used up too. So I am well using up all of my cotton yarns, which I'm super happy about, and I'm holding off on buying any. So I still have 2 full skeins of Dishy from Knit Picks, and I'm trying not to buy any because I don't need to buy any right now. I have plenty of yarn to be using up. So here is the dishcloth that I knit using the teal. And what I wanted to do, like I said before, was I cast on 40 stitches. I did 4 rows of a seed stitch. Sorry. I did 4 rows of seed stitch. And then every row I did, I think I did 4 seed stitch. I did a 4 seed stitch border on each side, and then stockinette on the center. And then whenever I got to the desired size that I wanted, I just did 4 rows of seed stitch at the top and cast off. Super simple, a nice square. And you know, what's nice about this is that because you're making it a square and it's not a diamond, it doesn't, like when you try to make this into a square, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfectly square. This is square. And I really like it. And I think it looks nice. I love the way the color variegates through, or models through, however you want. I don't know my words. So I really like the way this looks. And I think this is gonna be a standard for me, I think. Just something different. I like this one. I also like the other one that I was doing with the 4-row repeat. So again, it's just 4 rows of because I wanted to make sure that the border was the same size the whole way around. So I did 4 rows seed stitch, and then 4 stitches on each side of seed stitch, and then stockinette on the middle. So that is my 2 finishes of dishcloths. So then I have a partial finish. I went ahead and finished up. I've been working on my friend's socks, and he knows about them. I showed him last week what they look like, and he really likes them. So I went ahead and I wanted to finish them off because he's coming over to my house tonight for dinner. So I wanted him to be able to try them on, even though I already started knitting the second one. So here is the sock that I knit for him. So this is again, I knit toe up using the contrast. I've been talking about this for like a month now. So using the yarn, it's the Valley Yarns in Huntington. It's their sock weight yarn. Valley Yarns is the yarn brand from Web store, which is yarn.com. and it is a 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and it comes in 50-gram balls. So you can make one, for me, it would be, you know, one pair would be 2 balls. So, but I wanted to do the contrasting toe and heel, and then so what I did was, I was looking at patterns on Ravelry, and I saw a paid for pattern that basically was like this. But I was like, I don't need to buy the pattern whenever I can do this myself and figure it out on my own. So basically what I did was I did the toe up heel, or I did the toe that I like. I did the German short row heel that I like. I did a rib the whole way up the sock, and then I added 2 contrasting stripes just to set off. So it's kind of like that old-fashioned calf sock that we used to wear back in like the 80s and 90s, but a more modern day version of it. Now, I do want to ask, because those of you who knit socks and do toe up, I will say, and I'm going to take off the sock that I have and show you. I just put them on today. This is one that I knit toe up. You're going to see when I cast this off, I had an issue with being able to weave this in. And so now I have my little end here, and of course it cut off. I cut it off, and now, I mean, I know I can just, I can fix that. I'm not too worried about it because it was the first one. This is my socks that I knit with Holst Garn. And I don't know, it's their sock weight yarn that my brother got me for Christmas one year. Or maybe my birthday. I think it was Christmas. But I'm not really sure the best way to sew in my end after binding off. So I did do a better reinforcement here, and luckily, because this is black or like a charcoal, you can't really tell. But it is a little bit bumpier here, and it kind of messes up the ribbon. I'm not that worried about it, again, because it's black, but if I were to do the same thing that I did here and I reinforced it really well by weaving it in, and I think that's what messed up the ribbing ever so slightly, I don't know how to weave in my ends in a way that doesn't get that makes this look complete. Like, you can see how that stretches away. I want it to be able to make it look like it's cohesive the whole way across and secure that end tightly. So if you have a technique or a tutorial that I can watch on YouTube, or an explanation that you can provide me, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm still fairly new to toe up socks, so I'm still trying to get the best way for me to do it. That's the only thing that I'm really struggling with right now, is that one thing to cast off, the one cast off string right at the end. Otherwise, I'm really, really happy with my sock. Let me put my other sock back on. So then, put that away. Since I've been working on those socks, I really want to get them done. I went ahead and worked on, did I just drop a stitch? Yes, I did. I'm gonna have to fix that. Dang it. All right, I'll fix that in a little bit. I went ahead and cast, I already had the toe cast done for the second sock, and I'm almost done with the foot of the second sock. So I would really like, one of my goals would be to get this done soon so I can gift this to my friend. I just want to pick up this stitch so it doesn't continue to drop. Okay. one is it? I think it's that one. Okay. There, I'll fix that in a little bit when we're done filming. So I'm actually using up the last of that 50 grams, and then I have another ball that I will just go ahead and add on after the heel. So there we go. That is the second sock. So working nicely up, hoping to get that done sooner than later. I store this in my Portland leather toiletry bag that I bought. I actually have this one, my initials on this one. I really like this for my sock knitting. Next, now this is the thing that is going to drive me absolutely nuts, but I want it done sooner than later. I went ahead and my blanket. So I've been working on the, again, I've got this, it's a free design from the yarn.com website. It's the pattern called the checkerboard blanket or afghan. And this is from Universal Yarn. Again, this is the blanket that I'm working on. And I keep all of my patterns, printed patterns, in this binder. The one night when I was watching the show on Netflix that everyone's raving about, Bridgerton. I can only seem to watch like one episode at a time, and then I have to like change it. I kind of lose interest, but I'm about halfway through that show. Anyways, I went ahead and picked up the stitches for the border on my afghan. That was a pain in the rear. So there's about 1,000 stitches I had to pick up. I used the longest Chowgu cord that I have, which is 50 inches. And I still really don't have enough room to easily move or manipulate my my stitches around the thing. So I picked up the stitches around the blanket, around the entire outside of the border, and then I did one round. I'm supposed to do 3. I don't know if that's going to be enough for me. I think I might want to have maybe 6 rounds. It took, I think, maybe an hour and a half to knit that one round. So this is going to be something I continue to work on. I want to at least do 1 round a week. Maybe 1 or 2 rounds a week to get it done. I was hoping to do 1 round a night, but after that one night of picking up the stitches and then doing 1 round, I kind of got irritated. So I put it away for a little bit. So this is also using Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn. And the border is now being knit in dark gray. So it's kind of a mottled, charcoaly gray. I really like the contrast that it's providing. There you can see it. I think it's gonna look great together. I just need to get it done. So this is gonna be one of my goals. So this week's plans, and I have one more project to show you knitting wise, but this week's plans for knitting is going to be my blanket and the pair of, well, actually I have 3 things I want to get done. This is not going to get done, but I do want to put at least 1 round in it. The things I want to get done are my sock and the shawl that I'm going to show you next. So the last thing I worked on knitting wise is, and I have this stored in my Knits Best Things bag, which I absolutely love this bag. I love the pattern on this bag. I have an entire set. I have like I have the double pointed needle carrier. I have the accessory notions pouch. Anyways, You can find her on Etsy. I don't know if she has any bags available at the moment. I'm working on my Eco Hemp Rocky Mountain Spring Shawl. I've been showing this the last couple episodes. This is a lacy kind of lightweight shawl from Cascade Yarns. I also found this pattern free on the yarn.com website, which is a, they want you to use their Eco Hemp, the Cascade Yarns Eco Hemp Peruvian Highland wool. I am not. I'm using stash yarn that I've had. I'm using Knit Picks palette in these two colors. I don't remember what the colors are called. I can tell you, oh, this is Finley Heather. The whitish color is Finley Heather. I forget what the green is called anymore, and I don't have the tag. I want to say it's like evergreen or fur. It's fur. I bet it's fur. Anyways, I'm on my second ball of the green, still on my first ball of the white, and I have gotten this. This has been a pain too, but I have now gotten the second section of the flower lace section done. So I have now done, I want to say I did all, no, I already had the white done. So all I did was the next section of lace. And then I finished this section, next eyelet section. So the next section is going to be a white section. And then all I have left to do is one more section of the chevron section, which is this here. It's a larger section of lace. And then it's done. So I think I have, actually all I have left is a white section and the chevron section, and I'm done. So this is going to be a gold half finish by next week. I really want this one done. And the reason why I want these done is I want to start something new. I have some things lined up that I want to get started, but I know if I get started on something new before this is done, this is never going to get done. This has been sitting around since spring, and it kind of just sat around and sat around and sat around. And so I really want to get this done so I can start something new. So that is my plan and goal for knitting. So I'm going to finish my shawl. That's kind of like what it looks like. I know it basically just looks like a giant diaper at the moment, but it'll look great once it's blocked out. And I know many of you have asked me questions about blocking and how I block, and if I would show you how I block. Once I have this done, I will be happy to film myself blocking this out. I've never blocked lace. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I will be happy to show you how I block my lace, and I will insert it in one of these videos. And I'm sure, and I'm by no means an expert, so take it for what it's worth. And so, yeah, but my plan is to finish this as well as my sock, put a row in my blanket, and then we'll move on with that. So I've talked long enough about my knitting. I need to get all of this cleaned up and then get my cross stitch out so we can talk about cross stitch. But first, I have a new section that I want to insert into my videos, and that is going to be a gardening with Ginger Gerald's portion of the video. So I have pre-recorded that section for you guys today. And so what I want you to know is that I'm going to insert that while I clean this all up. So while I'm cleaning up, I'm going to have you guys visit, go back to the future and visit with me from yesterday for the Gardening with Ginger Gerald section. Please, if you like the Gardening with Ginger Gerald portion of the video, please comment in the section comments section below and let me know so that I can continue putting more of those sections into the video. I don't know if there will be a Gardening with Ginger Gerald section portion every week, but I do enjoy my gardening, obviously. And I know many of you also like the gardening, my plants and everything, and I like to share them with you all. I also want to give you the caveat that I am by no means an expert in anything I do. Knitting, cross stitch, gardening, anything. So if I provide you tips or tricks or something that may not be what you think is best for the general public, I am always open to learning new things. But I would appreciate that you keep things positive in the comments section and allow us to learn with everyone else. So, the information I share on my videos is what works best for me and what I do to keep my plants and my knitting and my cross stitch safe and enjoyable. But if you know something that works better, please share so that we can all learn together. But just keep it positive, please. And enjoy the clip while I get set up, and I will see you on the other side. Welcome to Gardening with Ginger Gerald. Today's episode is going to be about propagating succulents, and predominantly we're going to talk about Thanksgiving cacti. Now, most people know Thanksgiving cacti and commonly call them Christmas cactus or Christmas cacti, but there are 3 different varieties of the Christmas cacti family. So there is the Christmas cacti, which I do not really have any Christmas cacti. All of mine are a variety of Thanksgiving cactus. My largest one right here is a red Christmas cactus. The one we're going to propagate today right here is a white Thanksgiving cactus, white. But then there's also so the Thanksgiving cactus is one that has a much sharper leaf, or so the leaf nodules on the Thanksgiving cactus have a sharp points on them, versus a Christmas cactus is one that has much more rounded, has a much more rounded shape to it. Then the third type is an Easter cactus, which I have right here, and you can see it's a much more different shaped leaf to it as well. And so the difference also is that the Easter cactus typically blooms in the spring, whereas the Thanksgiving and Christmas cacti would bloom in the fall and winter. So of course it also depends upon lighting and watering and all of that when the plants bloom as well. So with the techniques that I'm going to talk about today, there are 2 different types of techniques that you can do for propagating. You can either cut the pieces, place them in water, allow roots to grow, and then place them into soil. Or you can cut the pieces off of the plants, allow them to air dry for 2 to 3 days to just allow the tips of where you cut the pieces from the plant to dry, so that there would not be rot once you place them into the soil, and then place them directly into the soil, so then they would grow the roots once they're in the soil. Either way works. It doesn't matter which way you do it. So it's up to you. Today I'm going to do the latter of cutting, allowing them to air dry, and then placing them right into the soil. I'm not going to show you how I plant them once they air dry. It's common sense. You just allow you get a pot of soil, you put a hole in it, and then you put it right into the soil, give it some water. Typically, you would not want to fertilize plants in the winter. However, because I am propagating in the winter time, I will give the new plants, not the old plant, but the new plant, I will give some fertilizer once I plant it just to get it up and running off the ground. So I have my handy dandy bonsai shears here. These are basically what I now use as everyday shears. They're nice and sharp, and you want to make sure that they are nice and sharp so they give a nice clean cut edge. And basically whenever you cut, you're going to go ahead into the plant, and you're going to find a place between, for this type of plant, the Christmas or Thanksgiving cactus, Easter cactus is the same. You're going to find a nodule between two leaves or sections of the plant, like right here would be a good section between two, and you're going to snip it right off. I'm going to make mine, because I have some nice long sections, I'm going to find some that are nice and long so that whenever I do start a plant, it has some body to it. The only reason I'm doing this in the winter is a friend from work had asked for a plant. I don't have any white ones that are started. They specifically asked for a white one. So I'm going to go ahead and just propagate right now. There is still a chance that the plant is still, and another good reason for propagating Christmas cacti, Thanksgiving cacti in the winter is that they're still in a growing cycle. You really don't want to do this whenever they're not in a growing cycle, because when they're dormant, it could hinder the growth of the plant. So again, I'm just going to I'm going to look for a good section of plant. Let's see, which one did I want to get here? I'm going to go ahead and cut. Don't worry if it's not a perfect cut. These plants are pretty resilient. Allow this to air dry and you are good to go. So that's all I have for you today. If you like these little sections in my videos, please put a comment in the section or in the comment section below. Like and subscribe as always, and I will see you in the next gardening edition of Ginger Gerald Gardens. All right, let's talk about some cross stitch. So one real quick administrative thing I wanted to talk about was I had a question regarding the tree with some squirrels in the intro of my video that they asked if it was a Renato Perelin pattern. It is a Renato Perelin pattern. I got it out of the Best of Renato Perelin book that I've had for a couple years now. And I believe it's I know it's one of these patterns. I'm not exactly sure which one it is because there are a handful of, trying to find it here. Oh, nope, there's only one pattern that has a squirrel, and it's this one here. So it's one of these that I stitched up for my mom. I stitched them on Charles Craft tea towels that I purchased from Joanne Fabrics and Hobby Lobby. And those patterns invigorated my love of Renato Perelin patterns. And so I stitched all 4 of the seasons that are like this for my mom for Christmas. Or I stitched all 4 of them up. She got a couple for Christmas and a couple for Mother's Day one year. So I have this book that I'll be talking about here in a few minutes. And yes, I do have everything. Okay. So the very first thing I want to talk about today in cross stitch is that I have a mini finish. So the very first thing that I finished this week, and you guys would remember this from last week if you watched last week's video, is that I am working on the Fragments in Time. And so last week I had a mini finish for number 5. So this week I finished number 6. Yeah, that's the one I did, number 6. So these are the Fragments in Time 2017 from Summer House Stitch Works. These are the only Fragments in Time that I have so far. However, she did drop her 2021 summer Fragments in Time, the picture of the number 1, and it's kind of a beachy theme, and it has a picture of a whale tail. So far, I'm hooked. So, I like these because of the colors. I really like the colors in the 2017 series. I got hooked on these because whenever Yvonne from Night Owl Stitcher was stitching these, a good friend of mine, I'm doing them pretty much called for, other than I changed the colors just to color and cotton ones, and I'm not stitching any of the letters. So here is my mini finish. So there's 4 of the 6 that I have done so far, and here is the one that I finished this week. So that is number 6. Again, I'm using color and cotton threads that I've had in my stash, and I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out. This is on a 40 count XJU Designs fabric from called Mushroom. And I'm using 1 strand of floss over 2 on the fabric. So 1 strand over 2 of the warp and weft of the linen. And I'm really pleased with how this is turning out. So again, this is 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right here. So I have 2 more to go. So I was actually talking to my mom about my plans, my loose plans, because I don't really plan, and how I'm doing this. I'm basically going to do 1 a week until these are done. So I have 2 more to go. This project will be done in January. So this is kind of like a focus on a finish. I really just want to get these done. So my January focus on a finish is going to be the Summer House Stitch Works 2017 Fragments in Time. So this will be done in 2017. This one took me 2 days to finish, 2 days to stitch up, and I was working on other things those 2 days as well. So it's not like I stitched this all by that's the only thing I stitched on those days. I also had a question about this one, is since I'm not stitching the letters, would I want to stitch this little motif over here to make it more even, more symmetrical. I kind of like it a little asymmetrical, because some of them are very symmetrical like this, and some of the like the flowers and everything. And then there's like this one that's kind of like all over the place. I kind of like this being just a little wonky, to the point where I don't want to put that piece there to make it perfectly symmetrical. I like it just ever so not symmetrical, which goes against my grain, but that's what I'm doing. So these will be small pillows or a small finish of some kind. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it. I have flannel that Yvonne, Night Owl Stitcher, gifted me one year that matches perfectly with this fabric and these threads that I will be using for the backing fabric. And she also gifted me this owl needle minder. All right, so that is mini finish number 1. Then I said I was going to be starting a new project. So I started, actually let me put this away so I don't misplace it for the moment. That's the pattern. So I said I was going to start Vickery collection beer Stein. I was going to do the winter beer Stein. I don't know if taking it out of here is actually going to help any, because I'm not taking it out of the plastic. So I started the winter beer stein. I'm doing these also as smalls. So each one is going to be done separately instead of as one large piece. This is the Vickery Collection Beer Stein Seasons. I've already done this and gifted it as in a smalls exchange. I am going to do all 4, and I'm going to do them in each season of the year. So by the end of 2021, all 4 of these will be complete. So I started with the winter. Next will be the spring. I'm doing this on a 28 count. Let me put this away as I talk. I'm doing this on a 28 count gold flecked Lugana. So it's 28 count gold flecked. It's not quite opalescent. It's a little bit different than opalescent, but it's similar, and it's just gold flecked. And here is my progress. And I'm doing this with the called for DMC 2/2. And here is my progress. So for as many colors as the Vickery collection designs have, I got a lot more done on this than I thought I was going to. I thought this was going to take me a couple months to finish with all the other things that I've been working on lately, but this really flew by. So earlier in the week, I did the main body of the beer stein, which really looked daunting whenever I was looking at the pattern. And then last night when I was watching Discovery of Witches, because I read the books and I didn't realize they made a TV show of that. And so now I'm watching, I just finished season 1 last night. So I stitched up the handle, and I've been working on the top. I'm really trying to do color completing as I go now, but now some of the colors are here and then up in here, and I'm trying not to count too much because I don't want to be off. So there is my beer stein. Again, many of you may ask, this is the clamp for my Lowry stand, my floor stand. It's just because I'm currently working on this, it's a lot easier just to slide this right off and then slide it back on instead of unclamping it from my stand. So that is the beer, the winter beer stein. Really pleased with how this is turning out. You can definitely see the gold flecks in there. I love this fabric. I love stitching on this fabric. Even though it's a Lugana, it feels a little bit thicker, and I think that's because of the gold flecked. And it's not, for me, it's not hard to stitch on at all. It doesn't bother my eyes to stitch on it with the gold or anything. So it's, to me, it's a really enjoyable, sturdy fabric to stitch with. So I just think it looks amazing. So I'm leaving all of the back stitch until the end, and then I will back stitch everything together. There's a lot of back stitch, but it goes fairly quickly because it's predominantly just outline. And there is white done in here. It's just really hard to see the white right now until I get the rest of the colors done. So there we go. That is Winter Beer Stein. Next up, in my Renato Parolin book, I'm working on this. So that is I call it my Tree of Owls, or Owl Tree. I know that's not the right name. I don't even know what it's called, to be honest, because it's in French. And I'm not even about to attempt to, where's it at even? Here it is. La Saison des Amours. Oh, so it's is it the Tree of Love? Is that what that means? The season of love? La Saison des Amours. There's 2 patterns with tree owls in trees. I'm doing this one. I was originally going to do the longer, the skinnier one, but I'm doing this one. I'm doing everything except I am not doing the back-stitched hearts. So again, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do the border yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to do the border, but I'm just stitching it like that. again, I'm doing this on a 36 count. I hardly ever, I haven't stitched on 36 count since 2016. I'm stitching on a 36 count Glastonbury Tour linen from hand dyed by Stephanie. I was gonna say XU Designs because that's what I always stitch on, but no, it's hand dyed by Stephanie. I've had this in my stash since 2016. It's a 36 count linen. I'm stitching one strand of Planet Earth fiber silk in the earth color. So it's a brown. Over 2 on the linen. So one strand over 2 on the linen. And I don't know. Yep. Here is my progress. And that color is pretty accurate. So again, I've made it to the bottom of the pattern, bottom of the piece, and I completely did the entire bottom. So I started up here in this bouquet of owl and leaf, and then I worked my way down through the trunk of the tree. I did the base of the tree and the ground, and then I did this little piece doodad here, and then I did this little guy over here, and then I stopped for the week. So I'm just taking my time. I'm really enjoying working on this piece. As I said before, Renato Perlin is my favorite designer. I love his designs. And so this coming week, I'm gonna start working farther up into the tree. I probably only have a week or 2 left and this one will be done because the trunk gets thinner. There is 3 more owls to go on this. And so that's what it will look like when it's done. Very pleased with how this is looking. Absolutely love this design. Can't wait for it to be done and framed. And of course I have my another owl needle minder on here. So there we go. That is my Renato Perlin project on the go. But no, that's not all. I'm crazy. I know. So Friday, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was going through my drawer of fabrics and I found a piece of 39 count Mirin linen dyed by XU Designs that I had. And it was just a scrap. It was a scrap piece of linen that I had that I could have put an ornament on. And I was like, I want to use this up and I want to use it now. So, and I knew I had a pattern that I've had on my, and I couldn't find the pattern for the longest time. And then I knew I had it on my iPad in my good reader. So, and it's Modern Folk Embroidery, Modern Folk Embroideries, Birds of a Feather. So it's 4 bird pin keeps. Very untraditional Gerald. But I was like, I just want to stitch something small again, because this is the year of the smalls. And I want to use up this fabric. So it's a blue, I think it's called Sky, maybe, from her. I bought this 3 years ago from XU Designs. And so I bought this fabric, or I pulled out this fabric and I stitched up in 2 days. And so I used, where's the other, let me show you the fabric. Oh. Aha. And I'm tripping over everything. Okay, so this is the fabric this is what it looks like. Unstitched. It's just, and I have scraps, I told you, scraps. But I don't like throwing these kind of large pieces out because I can use this, you know. I don't often use this kind of size of scrap, but I can use it. And then I was going through my hand-dyed, which I don't have a lot of hand-dyed flosses, but I have some. And I bought these years ago from XJU Designs, and this is dried leaves. So I thought this would look, just pop. Just be something different for the design. So here is my finish. I just did the smallest one. Kind of reminds me of a turkey flying. It does kind of remind me of like a Thanksgiving style pattern. But there is my little finish. And now, don't criticize my stitches. One, it's yellow, which is like the second worst color to stitch after white. Two, I stitched in hand, which I never do. I never, ever, ever stitch in hand. And we all know stitching in hand, if you don't do it regularly, is not easy to do. So I'm practicing my stitching in hand, and I'm going to continue practicing my stitching in hand so I can improve. I think it looks pretty good though for my first time stitching in hand in 4 years. So here is my little bird. I kind of think it looks like a turkey in flight. So I'm going to do something little with this. And again, I was talking to my mom about this, and she's like, why are you doing all these smalls? This is atypical Gerald. And so I had to explain, and I think this helps me whenever I was talking to her. It made me realize that I probably didn't do a very good job explaining this on the channel as well. So one of the reasons why I want to continue doing these smalls is I want to accumulate a bunch of finished smalls. So that way I can practice my finishing, my Foley finishing skills. I am not an avid Foley finisher of soft finishes, you know, pillows, ornaments, stuff like that. And I want to practice that. I want to get better at refining honing my soft skill finishing. So in order to do that, I have to stitch stuff that I can finish. And I typically don't do that. So I'm going to make a pile of stuff, and one weekend I'm going to have a finishing party, and I'm going to finish a bunch of stuff. And I'm probably going to call upon a bunch of people that I know who are great finishers. And I'm going to ask them for their expertise. I'm going to watch finishing tutorials on YouTube, and I'm going to try to get better at what I do. So we'll see. That is the plan for why I'm doing all these little smalls. Plus, it's a nice break, and I'm really enjoying just kind of being sporadic with all my stitching. So that is the plan for all these little smalls. So that is my stitching progress for this week. So I did my beer Stein, my Fragments in Time, Renato Parolin owls, and the little bird thing. I did not touch my Heaven and Earth design. It's not really calling to me right now, and I just don't feel like stitching on it, so I'm not going to, because then that's going to make me lose my my motivation to stitch. So I'm just gonna stitch it when I want to. I'm not gonna force myself to stitch on anything that I don't want to. And that's the main priority for 2021. You know, I want to stitch on London, and I think that's going to be like this year. This January is my focus on a finish for Fragments in Time. I think I'm going to pull London out for a focus on a finish in February. It's not going to be finished in February, but I'd like to focus on it in February. That can be my main focus while also working on a bunch of other little stuff. And I say all of this, and I'm also working from home right now. So my commute is a whole matter of like 2 seconds. So I have a lot of extra time right now that I'm able to craft. So I'm getting a lot more done. things are going to change. So I don't know what that's going to bring to my crafting world. So for the time, I'm going to capitalize on it. But and when things change, I'm going to go with the flow, and I'm going to make it work for what is happening in my world. And I'm going to go with it. I wanted to say two things. I have this piece of fabric that I also found when going through my crafting that I want to put a small on. This is obviously because it's only a small. It's only small enough to be a small. This is a gift piece that Udi gave me, XU Designs. It's a 40 count Newcastle in jack-o'-lantern. Obviously, I don't really stitch Halloween-y stuff. I really like this fabric. I think I like this side better. And I think I'm gonna stitch it with either the green. This is a Weeks Dye Works Seaweed. Or I'm gonna do something with this XU Designs Country Blue. I like them both, I'm not sure. And I'm thinking about pulling out my Crowns of the Kingdom from Rosewood Manor and putting a crown on here. But I'm not sure, so if you have any ideas, let me know what would look good on this fabric. I think a crown would look great, and then I could hang it on my Christmas tree because it's right up that like color scheme for my Christmas tree. I have a piece of Chromatic Alchemy fabric. This is called Vincent. It's 28 count Lugana, and it's an 18 by 26 piece of fabric. So it's a fairly big piece of fabric. I bought this in 2016. Back before I really knew what my style and really, this is, I think, the first piece of hand-dyed fabric that I bought. So I really didn't know what I was buying in the first place. And then I didn't really know what my style in stitching was. I have no idea what to even stitch on this because this is really outside of my realm of stitching. But I don't want to, I like the fabric, but it's not my style of fabric. And I don't know what to stitch on it. So I need your help. You all know what kind of stitching I like, but I don't know what to put on this. So if you have any ideas, I would greatly appreciate it. What do I put on this? And that's only half of it. Any ideas? I have no idea what to put on this. It's so busy. It's like super busy. But I still like it. It's very like Italian marble. And I know you need something probably monochromatic, but also something that's going to like stand out on the fabric, and I just don't know what to put on it. I need help. And I want to use it sooner than later because it's been sitting in my stash for 4 years. So please help. Any ideas would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so I have a few purchases that came in the mail this week. I'm trying to stay organized because whenever you do these kind of videos and you have a whole bunch to talk about, it kind of gets chaotic. Where's that? Okay, so the very first thing I bought, or that came in the mail this week, and I still have a few things that are still kind of outlying in the Postal Service. And I understand that the U.S. Postal Service is still kind of in chaos with the whole mail back up due to the holidays and increase in packages, as well as COVID concerns with the employees. So I'm patiently waiting. I know many people are not patiently waiting. I completely understand the system and how people are, they're not able to work, or things are getting backed up. So I do respect that. So I have a few things that I'm waiting on. I really hope that you all can patiently wait as well, because they're doing the best that they possibly can. So I randomly went on to Abby Top Knot Stitcher's Etsy store, just because I felt like I need some new needle minders. I've been using the same needle minders for many, many years. I met Abby at the New Jersey FlossTube retreat. I did buy a needle minder from her there, and I fell in love with some needle minders that she had. So here are the 3 that I bought, and then she sent me the mushroom as a little gift, because she knows I love mushrooms and my favorite color is yellow. So, or it was just perfect coincidence, but I could not, first off, I have a few British designs that I'm going to be stitching this year, so I had to get the British button stamp type thing. So that was perfect. But then I couldn't pass up these plant ones. I thought this was going to be my favorite because, it's like a yellow trumpet flower. No, I absolutely love this one. I don't know. It's just something about it I absolutely love. She has great needle minders, very strong neodymium magnets. I'm looking forward to using those needle minders. So there you go. A couple needle minders from Top Knots, Abby Top Knot Stitcher. Then I went on to Kitten Stitcher's website, just randomly looking. She typically does not carry stuff that is really my style of stitching, but styles change. Things change. So I was looking on her website, just looking around. Excuse me. And the first thing I did buy, and I have had Lady Dot Creates Velveteen before, but Teresa had a piece of daffodil. I mean, how could I not buy a piece of daffodil? And how ironic that couldn't this work perfectly together? Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So I bought daffodil. Excuse me. And then I just randomly saw these and I was like, well, these are kind of cool. And so I, like Henry, I don't have anything on the back of Henry to tell me what it is, how it was stitched, when I finished it, nothing. And I'm not one of those people that worry about like what happens to my pieces after I die. Like, I don't even know who it's going to go to after I die. I've like no one to pass stuff on to. So I'm not really all that worried about it, but I have been thinking about like some of my framed pieces. I would like to get some stickers or like those things that tell you, for you to write on so that you can say what the work is, like how it was finished, what it is. So Teresa had these colonial children and their pets, which is just kind of, I like animals. I like old-fashioned art, historical things. So I bought these these are Kathy Barrick stickers. And it just says who stitched it, what it is, what's the title, what's the designer, linen and thread. So that's something simple I can use on some of my pieces. And then I got two patterns. I got the Queen's Crowns from Plum Street Samplers because I'm on that kick. And I've seen this one before and I was wanting to get it. I love my crowns. And I might change the word from, it says Gloriana. I might change that to something else. I don't know, but I really like that design. Probably stitch it in a different color maybe. And then I saw this one, which I've never heard or seen before, and I just designed a gas lamp ornament. So I got the Stone Street Stitch Works Cobblestone Crossing. And finally, the last thing that came in the mail this week, I went on to By the Bay Needle Arts Etsy store, and I believe it's Donna at By the Bay Needle Art. Yeah, Donna. And we all know I stitched the 13th Bay Colony a few years ago. I've been checking out her other designs. I really like the panorama scenes that she has. So I went ahead and got her series, the Tidal River. So I have number 1. I'm not taking them out of the packaging, so we'll just have to deal with the glare. So there's number 1, number 2, and number 3. So I will be looking forward to stitching up those sometime. Similar, but very different at the same time. So looking forward to those. So that is everything I have for all of you today. I hope you are all well. I hope you all continue to stay well. And, you know, as always, have lots of stitching time, crafting time, knitting time, whatever time, gardening time. You know, we're going to start getting into the season where it's time to get outdoor plants ready to go, gardening, prepping plants to go outdoors, so all of your little seeds and everything. I saw some Instagram posts about seeds coming in the mail and everything already, so that's exciting. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will hopefully be back next week with another update. Who knows if it's going to be a crazy exotic menagerie of stitching updateness. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful week. As always, create the things you wish existed in the world, and don't forget to always be creative.